y'all have made YouTube big mad, and in response, since they can't really do anything to you, they're doing it to us, the content creators. And what I'm talking about is they recently came out with some new, I don't want to call them content guidelines, more like administrative guidelines. So it's all the data that's attached to the back end of the video, things like links, the description boxes, tags, etc., etc. And really, I believe that this is a direct response to the rise of alternative platforms. We've seen large, excuse me, I don't want to say large people with large followings, because I am a large person. I've started intermittent fasting again. Dirty bulk season. As a content creator that has been on YouTube for over a decade, I mean, like, I had to apply to the YouTube Partners Program. I mean, like, I had to write an essay and everything way back when. I think that most people, if they look at this, they'll be like, okay, well, you know what? The majority of this is fairly reasonable. We don't want YouTube to be the portal to the smut, and we don't want to amplify the message of objectively bad people that want to do harm to others. Yeah, okay, cool. However, the question lies, where does the line exist in something like this? I think that the writing has been on the wall for some time, and that's why if you look at any of the description boxes or any of the cards or anything like that here on the channel, that you haven't seen any links externally for some time. And that's because I know that they're developing the ability to even search in your video and hear the audio inputs of you saying whatever.com or, you know, whatever dot you know what. Like, I know that they're developing those technologies and that that's going to be a thing. And I understand it from a CYA perspective, as in like, hey, we don't want to be liable because they also don't know how these court cases are going to go down. And it is my concern as a creator that this is the type of thing that is going to be used to attack. I have dealt with this personally in that I had an issue around this time last year where, honest mistake, as in like I had a link that went to a site that was literally my page, that the link got broken and then I was penalized for it. So like I didn't do anything. I literally did nothing. Like it was just there. It was one of those upload defaults. There's a section in YouTube where you can go in and just put defaults in there. And it was just a link to a page that I had uploaded content to. And somehow that link got broken and it went to places that YouTube didn't like. So in the process of doing that, it wasn't a website that was selling anything. It was just a video hosting website, and they got mad about that. And the machine, it had to be a machine because it happened between the hours of 1:01 a.m. and 1:04 a.m. Like lots of videos came down. So impossible for even a team of humans to do, so to speak, at least manually. So my concern is that what constitutes a violation of those guidelines? Is it simply like these things that are listed, or is it now, oh, you know what, Rumble doesn't have the same content guidelines that we do, or Utreon doesn't have the same content guidelines that YouTube does. So now we can no longer verify that the stuff on that site is safe, which I would argue that that's one of the reasons that those platforms are growing, is because the content guidelines here at YouTube have gotten so strict that people are leaving the platform to go find real unabridged content, because the content creator has been negatively penalized. It's to such a degree that that the content is no longer authentic. So where I'm going is this. I conflate what happened to me with the whole, you know, linking to content that YouTube didn't like that wasn't on their site, right? It wasn't pornographic or anything like that. We also have a situation where they're targeting links in the description box currently. But when does it transition? Because we know that they're working on the technology to do the spoken word and the visual burned in URLs. I don't put burned in URLs into my video, except at the very end of every video, you'll see like Utreon, Patreon, Subscribe Star, things like those. What if there is content that YouTube somehow identifies as a problem over there that is not in line with their content guidelines here at this platform, and now they start penalizing creators for that. So this is where I'm concerned about the deleterious effects of policies like this. And for those of you, I think we're far enough in the video to say this now, I guarantee you that there are people that have commented below, oh, you should just go over to Rumble. Go over to Rumble. Every time you see one of those, we're going to do a social experiment. I want you to go down and ask those people if they have contributed to this channel directly. Because those people that think, oh, you should just go to Rumble because, you know, blah, blah, blah. One, I'm there already, and you're clearly not, okay? Because the view counts are showing that you're not there. I have to either have extreme amounts of eyeballs that I can then grab sponsors for those pieces of content over on Rumble or another platform, or I have to have a substantial proportion of my audience contribute directly. So if you say, hey, you should just be over on Rumble and forget about YouTube and all that sort of stuff, then help. So real quick post-production insert. It's not just about the money. It's not just the raw funds. As a content creator that spends so much of their day-to-day existence creating content, I have to have the buy-in of the audience. And as it sits right now, I am not seeing the indicator that you believe in Rumble. And if you don't believe in Rumble or these other platforms, then I can't either. Those other platforms, even though they are accepting of wide varieties of content, the eyeballs aren't there, and therefore the site-specific capabilities aren't there. And unless Rumble or Utreon or whatever gets their act together, eventually that's going to fizzle. Because we've seen this time and time again with alternative platforms that have a really first, you know, hype, kick in the pants, you know, thing, and then they either get bought because they maybe created their platform for the purposes of getting bought, or eventually the viewership thinks it's cool and hip and, you know, it's alternative and et cetera, et cetera. But ultimately they end up leaving the platform because the creators are not being taken care of on the platform. YouTube has the home field advantage on this one, and that they have built the machine around their business to the point where it's pretty hard to break out of that because they have an essentially a monopoly at this point in time. I'm not going to remark on that, but these other platforms have an uphill battle, and to be able to do that, they have to incentivize the creator. Because as of right now, I am not creating specialized content for Rumble or, well, I guess I do some stuff on Utreon, but it's very minimal. It's like a competitor to Patreon. I cannot commit the time to make quality content for a platform like Rumble because quite simply, the amount of time that it takes to make content, even this video probably took me 2 hours to make. So I can't commit the time to that unless there are incentives, either from the platform or from the viewership. And currently, I'm not seeing the incentive from either source to go and do that. The only thing that drives me to do that is the censorship side of things. Because I believe in my heart of hearts that the machine is eventually going to turn on all of its constituents. But anyway, bye.